What's up YouTube? How y'all doing? My name is Beaker and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over the good, better, and best SMGs of Season 5 Reloaded. Now, we did have a pretty decent shakeup in the meta as far as the SMGs go. The OTS got nerfed, which honestly didn't really make too much of a difference. The PPS got a small buff, and the Modern Warfare MP5 10 mil rounds got the really stupid nerf. But anyways, didn't really shake up the list too much. So at number 1, we're going to go with the OTS 9. This thing, everybody knows that this thing is unstoppable. It's the best close range SMG, and it has the most insane mobility, especially if you build it like I have right here. And kind of go over this really fast here. So we're going to have the Grew Suppressor for obvious reasons. We run that on pretty much every single gun. I don't run a barrel. So basically for the same reasons why we don't run the barrel for the Cold War MP5. It gives us like a 10% increase in range when you run the task force. But on the OTS, when the range is like 10 meters, you're add 10% on that. It's 1 meter. Really not a huge increase. Plus you get that recoil increase, which just isn't all around that great. So I don't really want to waste an attachment on that. As far as bullet velocity, it's going to be the same as Cold War MP5 without a barrel. So as long as you're used to that, then this is going to be absolutely plug and play, no problem. But this thing is way easier to use than Cold War MP5 because the recoil is not that difficult. Target Team Spotlight for the best mobility. Skeletal Stock to just because it's always the last stock we run, and this gun particularly has a really bad sprint to fire time, which obviously the Skeletal Stock does get rid of that, and that's why we run this as opposed to the Task Force, because we want to just use that attachment slot on a stock instead to get rid of that sprint to fire delay. Bruiser grip again for the best mobility, and the 40 round fast mag, because the fast mag on this gun actually does make a difference other than all the other ones, and the ADS penalty really isn't that bad, so that's why we run that. Plus it's only got a 40 round mag, right? So it runs out of ammo pretty quick. Number 2, gonna go with the Bullfrog. So the Bullfrog, so I'll just tell you number 3 as well. Number 3 is gonna be the PPSH. But as far as ratings go, the Bullfrog, the PPSH, and the MAC-10 are honestly so close to each other, and I'll show you that on the True Game Data site. But I'll tell you why, basically why I made the list the way that I did. The Bullfrog at number 2 because it's not the fastest TTK. The PPSH does actually beat it out as far as chest shots, but for a more skilled player, which is what the good rating or the best rating is going to be at, it's going to be a little bit higher skilled player. If you're hitting headshots with Bullfrog, you're going to melt everybody. Even next shots too, you're going to annihilate people. So yes, it doesn't do as good as PPSH. However, if you hit better shots with Bullfrog, you're going to melt people faster than the PPSH. So that's why I ended up going with that. And I think on my last list, I didn't even have the PPSH on here because it had some weird recoil, which granted the recoil was not changed in Reloaded. However, they did get rid of some of the idle sway, which is aiming stability, which helps out with the recoil. So this thing's actually really good with like a sniper support, or like I like how I call them the LMG supports, just in case you're caught in a reload. You need something that's gonna be good at close range and also at mid range, and this thing actually does very well. Mobility is very good. Got a 55 round drum mag on it, which does plenty of damage per mag. So that is my ratings and the builds for these ones. Just in case I didn't go over on the PPSH. The build on the PPSH is going to be the Grew Suppressor, Task Force Barrel, Tiger Team Spotlight, the Raider stock, and the 55 round drum mag. Now I know I talked about that OTS not running a barrel because it only gives you so much range. However, this one 10% on a pretty good range actually does end up stacking very well, and it gives us like 50% more bullet velocity. So when you're using this as like a support weapon, you want to have that bullet velocity because you're going to be using this thing at range, and we all know the higher bullet velocity, the easier it is to use at range. So that's why we use the Task Force. And then the same thing with the Bullfrog, Grew Suppressor, Task Force Barrel, Tiger Team Spotlight, KGB Skeletal Stock, and then it already comes stock with a 50 round mag, and it deals plenty of damage per mag. So instead of wasting that attachment, we're actually going to run the Bruiser grip. This thing's recoil really isn't that bad, so I don't really think you need a Spetsnaz grip. If you're using it as a support gun, like I actually do on my aggro sniper class, you can throw on the Spetsnaz grip, which actually makes this thing a complete laser beam. But honestly, the bruiser is just fine, and it helps to get that mobility. So with those ratings, let's go ahead and take a look at true to game data, and I can tell you exactly why I listed these things the way that I did. All right, so here's a true game data site, and this is going to be just like how we start all these videos off. All headshots, so the fastest TTK you can get. Obviously, without a question, OTS 9 is insane, but like I said, the Bullfrog has an insane headshot multiplier, so it's really not that far off from it at all. So that's where that is. While I'm still thinking about this, so the nerf on the OTS was like an 8% nerf to the damage range, which I think, so this is now 8.47. I think it was like 9.3 or something. And granted, this is without the barrel, but again, I already addressed that. So it really wasn't that big of a nerf at all. Again, we're not really using this thing for range. For me, I'm using this thing super, super close quarters, mainly in buildings. And just because I want the fastest TTK gun. And again, the mobility on this thing is insane. Number 2 is actually the Mac 10, which I'm just kind of putting in here again, as I mentioned, as an honorable mention. It is a very, very good gun. I enjoy using this, but the damage per mag just for me isn't always there. And also, in the PPSH and the Bullfrog are just a little bit better in certain scenarios. So, and then obviously in the blue line is PPSH. It's right behind the Mac 10, which its damage per mag is a lot better. So next shots, if you guys didn't know, the OTS actually shares the same damage multiplier from head and neck. So as long as you're hitting those upper shots, you're going to win every single gunfight that you're in. And then closely following that, I mean, these are all going to be so stacked. You're not going to notice this difference, honestly. Like, it's going to be one of those rare instances where you end up losing a fight and then you look at the kill cam and the guy has like a sliver of health. That's where these weapons kind of come into play. Stomach, pretty much all the same deal. Now, extremities. So this is where, for me, this is why I put the PPSH in the higher slot from the Mac 10, just because it is more forgiving. I know, obviously, the Bullfrog is last, but again, as I mentioned, the better category for these ratings is meant for higher skilled players, so you will be rewarded for hitting good shots and you will be punished severely for not hitting them. Granted, it's not too bad, but in these close gunfights, I mean, every millisecond counts. So that's why I went ahead and made these ratings. This is what I think is the best for Season 5 Reloaded's update. There are a lot more SMGs that I didn't even go into. The new Tech 9 is actually very, very good. It's probably one of the better support SMGs out there right now. Me personally, the mag isn't big enough, and I just don't like having no suppressor on it, because you have to run whatever muzzle to make it fully automatic. And for me, like, I know that it shows up on the mini map and then it quickly goes away as soon as you stop firing, but I don't know, it's something maybe I'll just get over one day, but it is actually a very, very good weapon. Also, something else I didn't mention on here was the CX9. That's actually a very, very good weapon still. Obviously, the more aggressive that I've gotten it, and everyone's gotten over these past few years we've been playing Warzone, mobility is key. So running a Modern Warfare gun as like your, I guess, your movement gun, everyone swaps to their SMG when they're rotating. Having a slower gun just is one more reason to not use them, in my opinion. So that's why, it's especially why I love the OTS, because it has amazing mobility. So, but definitely can't knock the CX9 for its killing potential. So that's it, guys. That's my list. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know what you guys are using, what guns you guys enjoy using the most, stuff like that. And what you guys are using them for. You know, I'm trying to use these things, you know, as I said, like the PPSH, Bullfrog, and the Mac 10 I use more as a support gun, but sometimes when I want to have fun, I throw it in another aggro class and just kind of have fun with it. So, well, let me know what you guys think. If you guys have gotten this far, please like this video. It doesn't take anything. It's free to just hit it. These videos always do very, very well. So I always try and make sure that I get them out and I put out the best info that I can possible. So a like rating would be much appreciated. If you guys want to watch me live on Twitch, I actually stream Monday through Friday from 7 to 11. If you guys want to jump in chat, drop a follow, whatever you guys want to do, show support. I greatly appreciate it. We'll see you guys out there. Peace.